All right, 25 CR 28 is now called the State of Texas versus Terry Williams. That's you, sir. Present with Ms. Manal with your attorney and the state's attorney.
A Texas courtroom moves through several probation cases, but one theme keeps coming back: people who are almost at the finish line, yet still have one last obstacle standing in their way. One defendant pleads guilty to obstruction or retaliation and receives deferred probation, while others return to court after years of supervision, still trying to clear unpaid fees, restitution, or final conditions. Judge John Stevens makes it clear that probation is not just about staying out of prison, it is about proving responsibility, following conditions, and finishing what the court ordered. Now each defendant must decide whether they will finally cross the finish line, or risk being pulled back into court again.
Does the defendant waive a formal reading of this indictment and arraignment? Can we proceed in summary?
Yes, Judge.
In summary, this indictment alleges that on or about December 6, 2024 in Jefferson County, Texas, you committed a third-degree felony of obstruction or retaliation. Do you understand what you're charged with here, sir?
Yes, sir.
This is a third-degree felony, which means if convicted, you face no less than 2 nor more than 10 years confinement in prison, and a fine up to $10,000 can be assessed. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
An agreement has been reached in your case that you would be pleading guilty, placed on deferred or unadjudicated probation, which can be up to 10 years in length, fined $500. There will be terms and conditions of probation, which are normal and customary. If I follow this agreement, you have no right of appeal of your case. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
How do you plead to this, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty voluntarily? That is on your own free will,
Yes,
and
sir.
because you are guilty of what this alleges. I'm sorry, I spoke. Okay. I show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 1. Did you sign that document voluntarily? Understand it? Discuss it with your attorney? Are the contents all true and correct?
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 1 is tendered into evidence.
No objection.
Without objection admitted. Among other things, this states you are mentally competent to enter your guilty plea. It's freely and voluntarily made. You know what you've been charged with. The indictment's been read to you. You've read it. You were guilty of the crime charged in any lesser included offenses. You were giving up your rights to a jury trial and the rights to the appearance, confrontation, cross-examination of witnesses. Totally satisfied with the representation provided by your lawyer. All true, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 1, part of the record for all purposes. Pre-sentence report is waived here.
Yes, Judge.
There's a recommendation of 5 years. What do y'all say? Before we start writing on the thing. I generally,
I think where he had a 7-year deferred probation, but that was back in the 90s.
would you, if you successfully,
He did complete it, but
if you are successful on probation, I can shorten this to 1/3, 3 1/3 years on 10 years, which is even better than 5.
Yes, sir.
But it's up to you to decide
Yes, sir.
whether you're going to complete it well or not.
I will. Yes, sir. I'm working.
Everybody says it.
No,
In fact, everybody signs a document that says, I'm going to follow them, but they still come up here.
Volunteer work at Lakeside Center. I do in the library. I do volunteer work there too. But I'm not no bad person.
All right.
I'm a workaholic.
If nothing further, I'm going to find that, again, you are eligible, for a deferred or unadjudicated probation here, and I'm going to set this at 10 years with the asterisk, you do well, and we'll shorten it to 1/3. You must serve, you're going to complete an anger management program. There will be a fine of $500 and other terms and conditions of probation that the probation officer here, a nice man, is going to go over all of these. Make sure you follow these. If you fail, your probation can be revoked. You can then be found guilty and sentenced up to 10 years in prison.
So,
and Mr. Perry is here from probation. There is a motion to revoke unadjudicated probation that was filed years ago, about going on 3 years ago. You pleaded true to failing to provide verification of performing community service hours. And what we did is we held the MTRP, the motion to revoke probation, in abeyance and continued you on probation. And so you are on probation for 10 years for aggravated assault, family violence from June 17th, 2013. So you have passed by that 10 years, and this motion to revoke probation told or put it into a suspended animation. And then we're trying to get to the finish line. So, Mr. Perry, where are we?
Your Honor, since we last met in November, he has paid $235 toward, of course, his fees. I mean, there's some statement, he was placed on inactive probation.
Yeah, I think he's on inactive.
Yeah,
So what are we doing today?
we'll just give you an update on his payments.
What else does he need to do to complete and finish this,
Just keep paying consistently.
sir?
Keep paying at least up to $200 per month.
Okay, how far behind is he? He doesn't have restitution, right?
Correct, no
So
restitution.
what are we talking about? How much is still left to be paid?
They have a balance of supervision fees is $859.
$859? That's it?
Yes, on up to supervision.
That's
Yes,
it.
Your
That's it.
Honor.
So if he found $859, for instance, today, then we would dismiss this case.
Yes, Your Honor.
It would be then dismissed.
Yes.
Okay. That gives you a goal line to
Yes, sir.
go after him. What do you think? How long would it take you to get to that? Or his fees still adding up, or
It was
they,
just supervision because everything has been suspended.
everything else is stopped?
Yes.
So you're at 849. When can you get that paid?
No, I work, but
You don't
I
have,
don't have $849.
Yes, sir. What do you think?
What get income tax?
Yes, sir. How much are you making it worth?
$17.99 an hour.
Okay, that's 18. That's okay. That's about 40 grand a year if it's full time.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, that's the finish line is right there. Okay. Yeah, I want to, whatever we can close off so he doesn't have anything adding up. But we still have to pay probation fees. So that adds up every month. What's that, 60? That's just the way it is.
Yeah. He may last.
So if you don't pay 60, then you start losing ground from the 800 and some odd that you have left. Okay. Any ideas, everybody?
What percent?
Yes, we paying 7. That's paying $10 extra. That's helping out. He's paying
Been on probation for 13 years. What do we do? What are my options? It's easy if he comes up and pays the money off, then all things being the same, as long as you're not in trouble with any other reason, if I sign that thing fast.
Yes.
I believe you're Miss Cole, and you are going to be Miss Brewer, and you have been on probation here. We're about to get the 10-year anniversary in a couple of days, huh? So where are we? Needs work?
Just on her fees, last night, we actually successfully discharged her from the complete and safe continuum. So she successfully did that. The only issue we have is the fees. Other than
Which
that,
is what? So we know where she knows. It's it looks like something, it's almost $7,000.
$7,037.
What does that consist of?
That is all the court fees still, a couple of assessment fees, her PSI fee, and her supervision and UA.
Okay, there's no restitution.
No.
Okay, that's good. So what do we do today? Just hope she wins the lottery?
I told her it was up to you. Basically, we can turn her inactive since she expires on April 3rd, or tell her.
What do you think?
Honestly, in the interest of justice, just let her off.
All right, you know what I think of y'all. If that's what y'all think, that's what we'll do. Okay.
I love you.
She deserves it, right?
She
And
worked.
We reward people. We reward.
Thank you so very much.
Yes, ma'am. Good luck.
Yes, ma'am.
You don't look like Jeannie LeBlanc. Jeannie was on this at one time.
Yes,
All right, we have a review of status, correct?
yes.
So where are we on all of this? It looks like the defendant was placed on probation for 5 years, over 5 years ago.
Yes, sir.
And there must be restitution as the big issue. Is everything else kind of shut down? Is she on a inactive type probation and just paying restitution?
No, she's still being seen in Harris County for courtesy supervision at this time. She got a 1-year extension in June of 2025. We have currently right now we're working on the medical marijuana approval by you. And then also the restitution. That's the two main things that we have.
Y'all were recommending that. I grant that, correct? That's where it's a recommendation.
From what I've seen, yes, sir. Ms. LeBlanc, she has some minor concerns about medical marijuana, but she said that if this is what the doctor is suggesting for her.
That's what they did,
That's
right?
what they did, yes.
But there's, yeah, you've got to be careful about driving a 4,000-pound missile around town when you're using.
Yes, sir.
Cannabis.
I use, right.
Yeah, I can't, no, and you don't operate heavy machinery, not that you would, but these are.
You play poker.
Are you employed somewhere?
No, sir, not current.
So how are we paying the restitution back?
I'm still working on that. I've recently signed up with WorkSource to help me look for a job. And the issue has been job and childcare, so now they've helped me alleviate that, so I'm hopeful there won't be too much longer.
We did discuss prior to this, she is getting some money for income tax. She's gonna be paying towards some of that towards restitution.
Federal government always gets in line first. It seems like. Well, they call it the supremacy clause in the Constitution. They get in front of the line in certain ways, and that's one of them. At least we don't have a state income tax yet. What do we do today?
I have a couple of recommendations. So if you want to do another extension, have that with the approval of the medical marijuana, without the approval of medical marijuana, or
I'm gonna follow what y'all recommend. What y'all think is in the best. Y'all know her better. You're closer to all of this. Doctor says I mean, he would prescribe it. I've always been hesitant to change a doctor's order. I don't think that's in my position. But the safety of the community is, so we've got to make conditions to ensure that if medical marijuana is being prescribed by a lawfully from a licensed physician, then the community is not at risk, nor her.
And I put on here to follow suit with your previous stuff that she should sign an amendment, like surrendering her driver's license in order for her to be able to.
You don't need one if you're gonna be using the marijuana. You can't drive, and it's gonna show up positive if something happened. And then it'd be who to blame. I don't want it to be me. Somebody drives you there, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Garage share.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, then that should be done. We made it safe for everybody.
Gotcha. Yeah, our recommendation would be to just go ahead and extend her so that we don't have to do another judicial review.
Send it to me, we'll do it.
Okay, I have a copy of it if you want.
Let me say it. Where are you working?
I know.
You don't,
Sir.
are you trying to find something?
I am.
You're gonna have to review this with the probation officer and sign this that I'm signing. Anything else?
You
Okay.
need to bring her back. There's no MTRC. She's just.
Yeah.
$100 a month. How much she pays?
Her last payment was yesterday and it was $300. So, as long as she uses her income tax and that kind of stuff. then-
Okay, so what, we review it again in 90 days? Is that?
If that's what I want to do.
So I want to keep up with her, so, okay, thanks.
Do you want me to give her another date?
Yeah, 9.
Okay, Judge Sutton.
In this hearing, Judge John Stevens was not just focused on punishment, he focused on responsibility and finishing what was started. Some defendants were given probation. Some were close to finally closing their cases after many years. Others were still dealing with things like fees, restitution, or strict conditions. The judge gave the same message in every case: the court can give you a second chance, but it's your job to complete it. Some people need anger management, some need to finish payments, and some must balance medical marijuana use with public safety. These decisions were both kind and strict. Kind, because people were given another chance. Strict, because every chance came with rules and responsibilities. In the end, probation is not freedom, it's a test. And every defendant has to prove they can pass it. Do you think Judge John Stevens was fair for giving people time to finish probation requirements? Or should probation cases be closed only when every fee, condition, and responsibility is fully completed?